I too, and I was glad to be able to speak earlier on the vote of sympathy to Detective Harkin in what happened, and we sympathise with that. But there are so many guys like himself, the late Detective Harkin, that are on their own daily, and Deputy Lowry has referred to it, and indeed Deputy O'Donoghue as well. Minister, in your outline speech, you said, by the way, I'm supporting these measures here today, and I'm also supporting the amendment from Deputy McNamara for a proper and decent independent review. Any legislation needs a timely review. And you mentioned the Oma bomb and that horrific tragedy. And that tragedy could have been averted, Minister. You know this. And I don't know, but your former Taoiseach and leader promised Michael Gallagher at a Fine Gael Ardèche, which I'm sure you were a cheerleader at as well, that he would get justice under your government. I want to ask you now, did you meet Mr Gallagher? Because the Taoiseach refused to meet him when he became Taoiseach. And we're coming up to the anniversary again in August, and that horrific event. And I want to pay tribute here today to now deceased, died a couple of weeks ago, Garda John White, from Kappa in Bancha, outside Care in Tipperary, who made gallant efforts to stop that bomb. Gallant efforts, put his life on the line. And what did he get? He didn't get a lot of support. And he could have saved 29 lives. Many lives had been spared in previous events that he had intervened in. And Minister, maybe you won't be retiring, but I wish you well, whatever you're doing. But that needs to be recognised. And there's a lot of things that shouldn't be happening. Minister, the gangland crimes. While we have the threats from dissidents all the time, gangland crimes rampant. I look at Drogheda, I look at Longford and other places. I've spoken here to you about Clonmel. We expect Gardaí to work in a horrible, Dickensian, dirty, filthy, rat-infested at times Garda station. And you can make all the frowns you like. You've seen it. Other ministers have seen it. Your teacher has seen it. It's unfit for human habitation or human work conditions, and they expect our members who we depend on. And I stood proudly outside it last Sunday with Superintendent Leahy and his colleagues in the vote of silence and the commemoration they had there at 12 o'clock, 12 noon for Detective Harkin. So, Minister, they need the tools of the trade. Minister, we need this legislation, and we need the members and the numbers and the resources to deal with the gangs that are in my county. Day and night, it's drug trade and everything else that goes on. I brought forward legislation here about scrapping precious metals. It's that trade. And we know who's doing it, and the dogs in the street know who's doing it. But we can't mention it. Unspeakable. Carry on. Children of 6 and 7 being used as mules and used as movers of drugs. I have pens, grandpens, great-grandpens in my office regularly, terrorised and intimidated. And that's not good enough. And I salute the Gardaí and the numbers that they have in trying to deal with it. But when are we going to cop on here and decide that everybody is subject to the same law, whether we have ethnicity or not? We're all Irish people, Irish citizens, our newcomers as well. Everybody has to be entitled to the same law and under the same powers. But no, we've turned a blind eye to it. And it's going to come back and bite us. You know where, I know where, and I won't be and not very long either, because the gangs, there's houses being burnt in Clonmel because families don't want other families getting it. And when I led with former Deputy Healy and others a deputation to the County Council about a house one time in Clonmel, they were all questioned. I wasn't, thankfully, because I wasn't going to cooperate. A public representative bringing in ordinary, decent people, and I always cooperate. And we were all questioned. 4 Gardaí investigated it. But this marauding intimidation of our communities goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on. We're now losing our Chief Superintendent in Tipperary, going to Clare. Nothing political about it, you said, but I wonder, Minister, and that's a downgrading. I want to support Chief Superintendent Smart and thank him and the superintendents that we have in the district and the Garda members, but we just don't have enough. I want to appeal to you again, as I did earlier, to leave the Garda community units that you've reinstated, albeit in the hired cars or the leased cars or whatever, but they're a presence and they have proved their worth no end, and they've done everything from taking beehives out of roofs to delivering babies to looking after all kinds of issues for ordinary decent people. I want to also wish Superintendent Pat O'Connor in Tipperary District, who's retiring this week, him the best and thank him for his long and distinguished career. I'd also like to wish my own area guard, who was a guard in my own district and community alert liaison guard officer, who's been promoted to sergeant quite recently, and I want to wish him well on his illness, who's battling an illness at the moment, but he has been the essence of a community guard. of the people, with the people, and stand with the people in their kitchens, and they'll support you. And no police force, as I said earlier, can work without the support of the public. But when we have the public intimidated by gangs, Minister, you're in a very serious situation, and these powers and these laws should be used to deal with these courts, because Gardaí are being intimidated and threatened where they live as well, and it's very, very serious. So I welcome the opportunity to support this, Minister, and I also want to say that I am supporting Deputy McNamara's amendment. Go on, Margaret.
Thank you very much.